Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to be setting up our code and our HTML for our JavaScript slideshow, which we're going to be developing over the next set of lessons. So first of all, open up your editor and let's create our HTML classes. So setting up a div, and this is going to be where our main slide container is going to be. So we could just call it slide container and set a class of slide container for that div. And we also need some indicator buttons. So we can call this one indicator class, and we'll leave them blank as we're going to be populating all of the contents using JavaScript. We also need to apply some styling to these elements in order to make them look better. So we're going to have a class. We can call that class mySlides. And initially, we're going to do a display none for the slides. This will give us a way to hide elements on the page, so display none. We also need our slide container, so we apply a little bit of styling to that as well. So apply some styling to style slide container. We'll give it a width, so we'll do a preset width of 800 pixels. And you can customize these as needed. A height of 400 pixels. So ideally, this is the size of images that you would be placing in within the slider as well. So that's for best effects. It's always best to have the right images. We'll center this element. So just using margin auto, that will center it. And overflow will hide the overflow of the element. And for the images that are contained within slide container, we'll set some values for that as well. So any of the IMG tags that are going to be sitting within inside it, we'll set a width of 100% for each one of those, and also a height of 100%. So it'll take up the full available space within the slide container, any one of the elements, the images that we create. We also need a few dots that we can utilize in order for the indicator. So these are the indicator dots. So we can give it a class of dot. Let's set a height. So these are just little round dots that we're going to use. And width. So we've got a height of 25 pixels. Let's also set a width of 25 pixels. And I'm trying to work through this fairly quickly. And of course, you can set the different values as needed. I'm going to set margin of 0 right now. Setting a background. We'll do a background color for this one. So background color can be fairly light color. Border radius. So this is to make them round. So if we do 50%, that will make them round. And we're going to use display and inline block so that we can use divs and we can have them displayed next to each other horizontally. And also we're going to make them clickable. So adding in a cursor of pointer on them so that the user knows that they can click that and they can make some type of interaction. So the idea is that we're going to have a bunch of these dots within the indicator element, and all of those dots are going to represent one of the images that's available that we're going to, of course, be building out with our JavaScript. And those are going to be all clickable. So you can select dot number 3 and it'll bring you to image number 3. Also, let's set up one last class before we conclude. And this is going to be the indicator class. And within here, we'll give it a margin of top so that there's some spacing from the indicator and the slide container. And setting the text align to center align, so I'll have the text in the middle. So essentially we're going to have the dots in the middle and give it a 100% so that it takes up all the available spacing on the page. So essentially what this is going to do is this is going to align the dots that we're going to use within the indicator, center align those as we build it out with JavaScript. So I think we're ready. So if we refresh the page, we don't see anything yet because we haven't added any JavaScript code. And JavaScript is what we're going to use in order to build everything out into the page and update the content within the HTML elements. So that's coming up in the next lesson. So for now, set up your HTML, add in some styling to these, and you're going to be ready to move on to the next step where we're going to add JavaScript in order to make interaction and dynamic content appear on our page.